Good morning, my name is Jacqueline Rodriguez, and I'm the Public Affairs Officer here at the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office. We're holding this live today to announce a decision made by Orange County Superior Court in the matter of sexually violent predator Lawtis Rhoden, and Liberty's Healthcare's second attempt at placing him in San Bernardino County without having committed any crimes or without any nexus within our county. Sexually violent predator Rhoden has been convicted of sexual assaults on 4 minor victims occurring in 1984. His offenses included rape, rape by kidnapping, forcible rape, robbery, sexual battery, and use of a minor for obscene purposes. His victims were 2 14-year-old girls and a 13-year-old and 17-year-old female in Los Angeles County, Orange County, and Davidson County, Tennessee. After completion of his sentence and prior to his release, in 2013, a jury found that Rhoden is a sexually violent predator and ordered committed for an indeterminate term to the custody of the Department of State Hospitals for an appropriate treatment and confinement in a secure facility. Since 2006, Rhoden has been in a sex offender treatment program and has petitioned to be conditionally released with a court order supervised release through Liberty Healthcare. As of February 2021, Orange County Superior Court found extraordinary circumstances existed based on the representation of Liberty Healthcare that they were unable to find suitable housing for Rhoden, and then they turned their sights on San Bernardino County. This began 9 months of efforts on behalf of San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office and San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department to oppose his placement in both 29 Palms and most recently in Newberry Springs. Present today, we have San Bernardino County District Attorney Jason Anderson, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department Captain Ron Markigard. We have San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department Detective Thomas Gates, and we have Deputy District Attorney Maureen O'Connell and Deputy District Attorney Dan Ross. At this time, I'd like to present both Deputy District Attorneys O'Connell and Ross to announce the court's ruling.
Good morning. Thank you, Jackie. On behalf of the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office, we are so pleased to let you know that as of yesterday, Judge Megan Wagner rejected the proposed placement of Rhoden in Newberry Springs. This marked the end of 9 months of intense litigation by our office, by the San Bernardino Sheriff, and the supported members of all of your communities. So I would like to turn it over to my colleague, Dan Ross, who will further thank you all for everything you've done to help us get to this point.
Thank you. This was a tremendous effort, not only by our office. We had partners throughout all of this. We had partners in the Sheriff's Department through the steadfast support and guidance of Captain Ron Markigard. And we had the assistance of Detective Thomas Gates, who previously assisted our efforts with regard to opposing the placement of Mr. Rhoden in 29 Palms last summer. And his expertise that he brought to the table was indispensable to these efforts. I want to thank the Sheriff's Department also for all the resources that they made available to us in this effort. I also want to thank the District Attorney's Office and our elected District Attorney, Jason Anderson, for also making every resource we needed available to us in order to make the best possible efforts to oppose the placement of Mr. Rhoden in San Bernardino County. And most importantly, the most important partner that all of us had in opposing the placement of Mr. Rhoden in Newberry Springs was the people of Newberry Springs. We had a community meeting months ago, one evening, where we called upon the members of that community to provide us with the information we needed about that proposed placement location so that we could do the best possible job to oppose that placement, to let the judge know why Mr. Rhoden should not be placed at that location. And they came through. They provided us with that information. They came all the way down to the Fullerton Courthouse and made a strong showing of support in our efforts to oppose the placement of Mr. Rhoden there. So we especially want to thank the people of Newberry Springs.
Well, Dan and Maureen, thank you very much. Captain, Detective, really appreciate you guys being here. Also, these are the architects of success in terms of the way this went. You don't understand sometimes, these standards can be very technical. When people hear about an SVP, they wonder why is it that they're here in our county in the first place, even if they haven't actually committed the crime in our county. And so we take over the legal part of it, but then the real ground game happens when the Sheriff's Department goes out into the community and they want to look into the community to find out, is this going to risk public safety, and is it going to risk the safety of the individual who's going to be placed out here? And so their ground game is very significant. And so we want to thank the Sheriff's Department for what they've done in the past where we've had success, and certainly they use that template in this instance to make sure that we had success in this instance. What they do is they gather the information, and then our experts, Dan and Maureen, they actually take all of that information and they form a theme to figure out how do we overcome this standard of extraordinary circumstances. It's a very difficult standard to overcome. And so for 9 months and significant evidentiary hearings in which they present evidence, they answer all the questions that the judge may have. They have to respond to the other side. Liberty Healthcare has a representative there. And so it really is an adversarial setting in terms of it. And so I just can't say enough about the dogged determination, the consistency, not only of the Sheriff's Department, but the architects of this success, which is Dan and Maureen. In this instance, and they've shown they can do this before. I also want to say that I was present at 2 of the court hearings, and I was very pleased to be there. I have to give the judge credit, and as I indicated to her, it's not an easy decision that a judge has to make. We really were impacted by how deliberate she was, how patient she was in taking in not only all the information, but there's a period in which there's public comment, and there's a number of people that spoke, elected officials, myself, obviously the hearing, but the residents, as Maureen and Dan have discussed, coming from Newberry Springs. And that really brings me to what Dan highlighted, is that it will never be lost on me the significance of landing out in Newberry Springs a couple months ago. And I remember when I stepped foot out of my car, it was 112 degrees at 6 o'clock in the evening. And there were no less than 150 people who were residents of Newberry Springs who came out at the town hall meeting that we had. And I got to tell you, one of the things that Maureen and Dan talked about after that meeting that was so rich and priceless were the nuanced details of the community of Newberry Springs that only the residents of Newberry Springs could actually articulate. And I know from talking to Dan and Maureen that they took the information and that was given to them by those residents to say, hey, there's a concern here, there's a bus stop in this area, this place is too far away from response time from the Sheriff's Department. There were other nuances that they provided. Was phenomenal. One of the things that was very, very great at that meeting was the folks in Newberry Springs asked about the hearings and they wanted to be present. And I have to give credit to Congressman Jay Overnolte's office. Congressman Overnolte was present. His wife Heather was present, and Heather was the one who said, hey, let's see if we can't get arrange transportation for the residents of Newberry Springs to go to the hearings. And in fact, that happened. And I think Dan and Maureen, you guys would agree that that was very poignant in terms of the impression that it made on the judge to have those folks there. So thank you to the residents. Thank you, Sheriff's Department, for everything you guys have done. Tremendous, tremendous. And as I've called you a couple times, the architects of success are standing right here. And I just couldn't be more honored and proud to have them on our team and to work with them in the way we've done it. So we just are glad that we have wonderful news for our county. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes today's live. I want to thank you for tuning in, and a special thank you to the residents of Newberry Springs. I know you've been waiting for this answer for a long time. So with that, we'll leave you.